In the heart of India, in a small village called Bhavra, a boy was born on July 23, 1906. His parents, Sitaram Tiwari and Jagrani Devi, named him Chandra Shekhar Tiwari. His father was a sincere and honest pandit, and his mother was a deeply religious woman. They lived a simple life, filled with traditional values and stories from Hindu epics. Little Chandra Shekhar grew up listening to tales of brave heroes and righteous kings. These stories planted the first seeds of courage and justice in his young heart. He was a strong and healthy child, with bright, curious eyes that seemed to take in everything around him. His village was surrounded by forests and hills, which became his first playground. From a very young age, Chandra Shekhar showed a spirit that was different from other children. He was not content with quiet games. Instead, he loved the thrill of the outdoors. He would spend hours exploring the dense Bhil forests with his friends. The Bhil tribe, known for their archery and deep knowledge of the jungle, fascinated him. He learned to shoot a bow and arrow with amazing accuracy. He also became an expert marksman with a slingshot. These skills were not just for fun. They taught him focus, patience, and how to live in nature. His fearless nature often got him into trouble, but it also earned him the respect of his peers. Chandra Shekhar's mother wanted him to become a great Sanskrit scholar. She dreamed of him studying in the holy city of Kashi, now known as Varanasi. She hoped this path would lead him to a life of peace and learning. Following her wishes, the young boy was sent to a Sanskrit school. But Chandra Shekhar's destiny had other plans for him. While he respected his mother's dream, his heart was restless. He felt a pull towards a bigger purpose, something beyond the pages of ancient texts. The world outside his small village was changing, and the winds of that change were slowly reaching him. His childhood was a mix of simple village life and thrilling adventures. He was a loving son and a loyal friend, but he also had a stubborn streak of independence. One famous story from his childhood tells of how he held his hand over a flame without flinching, just to prove his strength and tolerance for pain. This incident, though small, was a glimpse into the iron will that would later define him. He was a boy who did not know fear. He believed in standing up for what was right, even if it meant facing pain or danger. This fearless boy from Bhavra was unknowingly preparing for a life that would make him a legend. When Chandra Shekhar was just a teenager, a terrible event shook the entire nation of India. In 1919, in the city of Amritsar, a peaceful gathering of unarmed men, women and children was held at a park called Jallianwala Bagh. A British officer named General Dyer ordered his soldiers to open fire on the innocent crowd. Hundreds of people were killed and thousands were injured. The news of this brutal massacre spread like wildfire across the country. It filled the hearts of Indians with deep sorrow and anger. For young Chandra Shekhar, this was a turning point. The stories of bloodshed and cruelty lit a fire of patriotism within him. At that time, Mahatma Gandhi had started the non-cooperation movement. He asked Indians to peacefully protest against British rule by boycotting British goods, schools, and courts. The movement was a call for self-reliance and non-violent resistance. Inspired by Gandhi's message and enraged by the Jallianwala Bagh tragedy, thousands of students left their British-run schools to join the struggle. Chandra Shekhar, who was then studying in Varanasi, could not stay away. He felt a strong urge to do something for his country. The classroom felt too small for his growing spirit of rebellion. With a heart full of passion, Chandra Shekhar joined the non-cooperation movement. He was only about 15 years old, but his determination was as strong as any adult's. He eagerly participated in protests and demonstrations. He encouraged people to stop using foreign products and to spin their own cloth using a charkha, a spinning wheel. It was his first real experience with the freedom struggle. He felt a sense of purpose and belonging among the crowds chanting slogans for independence. He was no longer just a boy from a small village. He was a soldier in the army of freedom fighters, ready to challenge the mighty British Empire. This period was a great learning experience for him. He saw the power of unity and the strength of the common people when they stood together. He learned about the different leaders and their ideas for freeing India. The movement gave him a direction and a cause to dedicate his life to. The boy who once played with bows and arrows in the forest was now fighting a different kind of battle. He was fighting for the dignity and freedom of his motherland. The spark of revolution had been ignited in his soul, and it was a fire that would only grow brighter and stronger in the years to come. Chandra Shekhar's active participation in the non-cooperation movement soon brought him to the attention of the British authorities. One day, while taking part in a protest, he was arrested by the police. He was just a teenager, but he stood tall and unafraid as he was taken away. He was brought before a magistrate, a British judge who was known for being very strict. The magistrate looked at the young boy standing before him and asked for his name. With a clear and confident voice, Chandra Shekhar replied, "My name is Azad." In the Hindi language, the word Azad means free. It was a bold and defiant answer. The magistrate was taken aback by the boy's courage. He then asked for his father's name. Without a moment's hesitation, Chandra Shekhar declared, "My father's name is Swatantrata. This word means freedom." The magistrate was growing more annoyed with these clever answers. Finally, he asked for the boy's address, his place of residence. With a proud smile, Chandra Shekhar announced, "My residence is the jail." This fearless response left the entire courtroom stunned. The magistrate, furious at this display of defiance, decided to punish the boy severely to teach him a lesson. He sentenced the young revolutionary to 15 lashes with a whip. This was a brutal punishment, especially for someone so young. But Chandra Shekhar did not show any sign of fear or pain. As each lash struck his back, he did not cry out. Instead, with every strike of the whip, he shouted slogans like "Bharat Mata Ki Jai" and "Mahatma Gandhi Ki Jai." The police officers who were whipping him were shocked by his incredible endurance. The other prisoners watched in silent admiration. He turned a moment of punishment into a display of heroic resistance. When he was finally released, his back was covered in deep, bleeding wounds, but his spirit was unbroken. The news of this brave young boy spread quickly. People were amazed by his courage and his clever answers to the magistrate. From that day on, Chandra Shekhar Tiwari became known to everyone as Chandra Shekhar Azad. He had earned his new name through his own bravery. He was no longer just a boy, he was a symbol of freedom. The name Azad stuck with him for the rest of his life, a constant reminder of his promise to live free and to die free, never to be captured by the British. Section 4. The Path of Armed Struggle. In 1922, an incident in a village called Chauri Chaura changed the course of the freedom struggle. A group of protesters clashed with the police, and the police station was set on fire, killing several policemen. Mahatma Gandhi, who was a firm believer in non-violence, was deeply saddened by this event. He felt that the people were not yet ready for a peaceful movement and decided to call off the non-cooperation movement. This decision came as a huge disappointment to many young revolutionaries, including Chandra Shekhar Azad. He and many others felt that their sacrifices were being wasted. Azad had put all his energy and passion into the movement. The sudden halt left him feeling lost and disillusioned. He started to question the effectiveness of non-violent methods. He wondered if peaceful protests alone could ever be enough to drive out the powerful British Empire. He believed that the British only understood the language of force. He felt that India's freedom would not be given, it would have to be taken. This belief pushed him towards a more radical and aggressive path. He began to think that an armed revolution was the only way to achieve complete independence. This was a time of great debate among the freedom fighters. While one group followed Gandhi's path of non-violence, another group of young, fiery patriots believed in fighting fire with fire. Azad found himself drawn to this second group. He met other young men who shared his frustration and his burning desire for freedom. They believed that making small sacrifices was not enough. They were ready to give their lives for their country. They wanted to create a revolution that would shake the very foundations of British rule in India. They were not afraid to use guns and bombs to achieve their goal. Driven by this new conviction, Azad decided to join a secret revolutionary organization. He came into contact with a man named Ram Prasad Bismil, who was a leader of a group called the Hindustan Republican Association, or HRA. The HRA's main objective was to overthrow the British government through an armed struggle and establish a free and independent republic in India. Azad was impressed by their clear goal and their willingness to take bold actions. He saw in them the same fire that burned within him. Joining the HRA was a defining moment in his life, marking his transition from a peaceful protester to a full-fledged revolutionary. Section 5. Leading the Revolutionaries. Once Chandra Shekhar Azad joined the Hindustan Republican Association, or HRA, his natural leadership qualities quickly became apparent. He was not just brave, he was also a brilliant strategist and an excellent organizer. He had a magnetic personality that drew people to him. His mentor, Ram Prasad Bismil, saw his potential and trusted him with important responsibilities. Azad took his role very seriously. He worked tirelessly to recruit new members and to train them in the use of weapons and guerrilla warfare tactics. He was an expert marksman and taught his comrades how to shoot with precision. His skills learned in the forests of Pavra were now being used for a greater cause. The HRA needed money to buy weapons and fund their revolutionary activities. In 1925, they planned a daring act to get this money. They decided to rob a train that was carrying government funds. This event became famous as the Kakori train robbery. Azad, along with Ram Prasad Bismil, Ashfaqullah Khan and others, successfully stopped the train near Kakori and looted the money. Although the robbery was a success, the British police launched a massive manhunt. Many of the revolutionaries were arrested, and some, like Bismil and Khan, were later hanged. Azad, however, was a master of disguise and managed to escape. After the Kakori incident, the HRA was in a state of disarray. With most of its leaders either in jail or executed, the organization was on the verge of collapse. It was Azad who took up the challenge of rebuilding it. He traveled across northern India in hiding, meeting with the remaining members and inspiring them not to give up hope. He was a wanted man with a huge bounty on his head, but he moved like a ghost, constantly changing his identity and location. During this time, he met other young revolutionaries, including a charismatic and intelligent young man named Bhagat Singh. Azad and Bhagat Singh shared a deep bond and a common vision for India. They both believed that the revolution was not just about driving out the British. It was also about creating a new, socialist society free from exploitation. Together, they decided to reorganize and re-energize their group. In 1928, they held a secret meeting in Delhi and renamed their organization the Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, or HSRA. The addition of the word socialist showed their commitment to building a just and equal India. Under the leadership of Chandra Shekhar Azad, the HSRA became a powerful force in India's freedom struggle. Section 6. The Last Stand of a Free Man. As the leader of the HSRA, Chandra Shekhar Azad was the mastermind behind many revolutionary acts. The group needed to make a strong statement against British oppression. In 1928, a senior British police officer named James Scott ordered a brutal lathi charge on a peaceful protest, which led to the death of the respected leader Lala Lajpat Rai. To avenge his death, Azad, along with Bhagat Singh and Rajguru, planned to assassinate Scott. However, in a case of mistaken identity, they ended up killing another police officer, John Saunders. Azad ensured that his comrades escaped safely after the act, once again showcasing his brilliant planning skills. Azad continued to guide the HSRA's activities from the shadows. He supported Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt's plan to throw harmless bombs in the Central Legislative Assembly in Delhi. The purpose of this act was not to kill anyone, but as they famously said, to make the deaf hear. They wanted to draw the world's attention to India's fight for freedom. After the bombing, Bhagat Singh and Dutt courted arrest. Azad, however, remained free, continuing to organize the revolution. He was the glue that held the HSRA together, a constant source of inspiration for his comrades, many of whom were now in prison. For years, Azad lived a life on the run. He moved from city to city, from village to village, never staying in one place for too long. He disguised himself as a sadhu, a mechanic, and even a driver to evade the police who were desperately searching for him. Despite the constant danger and hardship, he never lost sight of his goal. He continued to train young revolutionaries and manage the party's activities. He was known for his strict discipline and strong moral character. He made sure that the money collected for the revolution was never used for personal comfort. His life was a testament to his unwavering commitment to his country. On February 27, 1931, Azad's life of hiding came to a tragic end. He had gone to Alfred Park in Allahabad, now Prayagraj, to meet a fellow revolutionary. Unfortunately, an informer had tipped off the police about his location. Soon, the park was surrounded by a large police force. Azad found himself trapped. A fierce gun battle began. With his trusty pistol, he fought bravely, allowing his comrade to escape. He knew he could not get out alive, but he had made a vow to himself long ago. He would never be captured alive. He would always remain Azad or free. As he ran out of bullets and the police closed in, he used his last bullet to shoot himself, choosing death over surrender. Section 7. A legacy that never dies. Chandra Shekhar Azad was only 24 years old when he died, but his sacrifice left a permanent mark on the heart of the nation. He lived and died by his name, Azad. His final act in Alfred Park was not an act of defeat. It was the ultimate act of defiance. It was a powerful message to the British Empire that the spirit of India could not be caged. When people heard the news of his death, they were filled with both grief and pride. The park where he made his last stand was flooded with people who came to pay their respects. They collected the soil from that spot, which had been sanctified by the blood of a great hero. Azad's life story has become a legend that continues to inspire generations of Indians. He is remembered as the very symbol of courage, selflessness, and an unshakable love for freedom. He showed that one does not need a long life to make a big impact. His short but intense life was dedicated to a single purpose, the liberation of his motherland. He was a leader who led from the front, a friend who would risk his own life for his comrades, and a visionary who dreamed of a free and socialist India. His friendship with Bhagat Singh represents the powerful unity of revolutionary minds. Today, Chandra Shekhar Azad is honored throughout India. Statues have been built in his memory, and public places, including the park where he died, have been renamed after him. His name is taken with great respect alongside other great freedom fighters. His story is told in books, films, and songs, ensuring that his legacy is not forgotten. He teaches us that true freedom is not just about political independence. It is about living with dignity, courage, and self-respect. He reminds us that we must be willing to stand up against injustice, no matter how powerful the opponent. His famous twirled moustache and fearless gaze have become an iconic image of the Indian revolutionary. He represents the fiery spirit of youth that refuses to bow down to oppression. While Mahatma Gandhi's path of non-violence was one important stream in the river of the freedom struggle, Azad's path of armed revolution was another powerful current. Both were driven by the same deep love for India. The legacy of Chandra Shekhar Azad is a timeless reminder that freedom is precious and that the fight for it requires immense courage and sacrifice. He remains and will always remain one of India's most beloved and fearless heroes.